women are up over 35 and 45, and you're going to be dating guys who just ended a relationship.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
So that's the next question. What about rebound? I'll let you ask it.
Yeah, so what about that, John? Because in that age group, there are a lot of men who are coming out of divorce or another long-term relationship or whatever. And it's tricky because sometimes they think they're ready to jump right back in, but for a woman, that can be kind of a vulnerable place to be. And no one wants to just be the rebound relationship if you're looking for a long-term relationship. So what are some of the key things we should be aware of there?
Well, you kind of gave the conclusion, which is really good. But when you say nobody wants to be the rebound, actually people want to be the rebound.
Okay.
To be a rebound is you get a lot of attention, a lot of affection, a lot of interest. Nothing wrong with being on a rebound with somebody, but don't expect it to last.
Okay, there's the key right there.
That's the key. So here's what happens is in a rebound with a man. Okay, so let's say I've been single for a long time, or I've been in a relationship and I've broken up. If I've broken up, it's because I'm not getting what I need in that relationship. So I've been trying to make something work where I'm not getting what I need. So in a sense, I'm a guy on a desert and I'm thirsty. Okay, so I've been trying my best. It hasn't been working. I'm missing love. I need love. So it's like you haven't eaten in a long time. So if I'm in the desert and I'm thirsty, and somebody gives me water, it's like wine. And let's say I arrive and there's food and somebody says, well, we're so sorry, we only have bagels. We don't have butter. You take that bagel and you eat it. I fasted and fast for 3 days and then eat a bagel. It's like the best French restaurant in the world. And that's what you have to recognize. It's not that he's being disingenuous. It's his experience that you're the best thing in the world and I'm in love with you and I can't believe you. I can't believe how much I love you and I just want to be with you and I'm going to have sex with you and I'm going to romance you and I'm going to buy things for you and what's wrong with that? That feels really good as long as you know that's not real, lasting, because I've been empty and now I'm getting what I need. It's a French restaurant, but then after a while you wake up and you go, actually it's just a bagel. And there's other restaurants out there too. And so the chances of attaching yourself to somebody and then having them move on is quite high. And then you get your heart broken. It's a hard thing to go through. Unless you're in this stage that I'm recommending, which is, hey, all these guys on the rebound, you'll get a lot of attention, a lot of affection to go with it. But just make sure that this is not serious for me. We'll just get to know each other and what you do during those times, again, is you practice not giving more than you're getting. That's the key to this. It's very hard for women when they get attached, when a man's giving to them on the dates in the beginning to get attached, and then you just want to give it all. Yeah. That's just a natural tendency. So you've got to hold back from that, wanting to overgive to justify getting more. Wanting to overgive to justify getting more. Just to say that again, if you have sex with a guy and he never calls you back and you feel resentful, then you had sex too soon. Mm-hmm. You should only have sex with a guy the way guys do. If I have sex with a woman and she doesn't call me back, okay, next. That was a fun one-night stand. Not that I do that anymore, okay, but I'm just talking generally for a guy. And so we're kind of shocked if we have sex with a woman and never call her back, how upset she is and how hurt she is, because there's a part of her, whether it's conscious or unconscious, that thinks that if we're having sex, then we have a relationship. And I know many women today go, no, I'm just having sex. I'm not expecting more. But something happens when you have sex. There's when you orgasm with a man, it does cause your estrogen to shoot up and you attach way more than a man attaches. Men detach after orgasm, which is another thing to understand about men, is that when a man has an orgasm, his testosterone levels will drop, and now he needs to pull away. He needs to detach in order to rebuild testosterone. Women don't have to detach to rebuild testosterone because they don't need testosterone as much as men do. So women, when they climax, they have a huge surge of estrogen. And if they don't have a relationship with him that supports estrogen or a life that supports estrogen, then her brain goes, must have him. So the woman, after having sex with the guy and she doesn't have a relationship with him, there can be this huge kind of like emptiness that she feels afterwards. And for many women, they feel like, I need him to fill that emptiness. Why is he not doing it? I'm not getting enough. Or she just feels empty in her life. For a man, he just like, I'm off to play golf. I'm off to back to work. I had sex. I feel great. I did it, and now I need to go out and do something on my own to rebuild my testosterone. So that's a concept from Men from Mars, Women from Venus book, which is so important for single women to understand. It's the second stage of dating. The first stage is all this attraction and fun and connection. And always after you have all that attraction and connection, men are going to back off. That's their instinct. That's their biological need. Connection is estrogen. And when estrogen's too high in men, their testosterone goes down. Men need to have twice as much testosterone, 10 times as much testosterone. Some men 30 times as much testosterone to feel good and to feel attracted to her.
Yeah, and I want to make sure the ladies don't miss what you just said there, John, because I think it's so important where you said after all this connection, the men will back off. Because when that happens, I talk to women all of the time that are experiencing that backing off period, which I like to call the gap. That's the term I've created for it. It's confusing to women, and they think, what happened? We had all this connection, and now we backed off. So I just want to make sure that they heard what you said, that that's their natural response to that connection. It doesn't negate the fact that the connection happened when they're backing off. And our job as women is to not run after them during that period, right?
Exactly. Now, here's a subtlety there. There's a lot to that. I call it the rubber band, which is he pulls away, he will spring back if you don't run after him. But he will also only spring back if he has other ways to spring back that are not sexual. Because what happens is if you don't establish a relationship where there's mental connection and emotional connection, and he only has a sexual connection with you, what will occur in his body when he has sex with you is after having sex with you, the body will produce prolactin, which lowers his sexual interest in you. And it doesn't lower his sexual interest in other women. It just lowers his sexual interest in you temporarily. And during that time where he temporarily has no sexual interest, and it doesn't mean the first time you have sex that will happen. It could be like you go away for a weekend and you just have sex 3 times a day for 3 days. You just have to know he's gonna just back off huge because he just went into ecstasy and this is fantastic and I'm alpha male and all this estrogen's going up, his testosterone's going up, but the estrogen stays up because there's all this like I don't necessarily love you because I don't know you. I love how you make me feel. See, this is the thing. You see, you give a man, fulfill his sexual needs. There's nothing more powerful. I love how I feel, and therefore I love you. But I don't know you yet. I really just loving how I feel, but it seems like I love you. It's like when you eat ice cream, it tastes so good. And what do you say? I love ice cream. But it's in a relationship. I love you, but I don't know you. There's no relationship. So when that prolactin gets released, his sexual interest dissipates temporarily. And during that time, there's nothing to pull him back to you. And while there's no interest in you sexually, he can very easily become interested in another woman sexually. And he starts to compare you. This is, women, you know how you compare. That's when he starts comparing because he can look at this woman and get turned on, but he's looking at you and there's nothing to turn him on. And while the prolactin has been released, he bonded with you to a certain extent. Prolactin gets released, diminishes his sexual desire temporarily. He pulls away, and now he can become interested in other women. And so that happens less and less the more he has a relationship in his heart with you and in his mind with you. Then what occurs is, ironically, when he has sex with you, more prolactin gets produced that will prevent him from being immediately sexually turned on to other women. So a little bit of prolactin causes him to be not attracted to you sexually. A lot of prolactin causes him to not have any sexual desire for a little while, giving him a chance to say, okay, now I got to rebuild my testosterone without being sexually attracted to other people. I'm going to rebuild it through my work and my activities and so forth. His testosterone comes back up, and now he can bond with you again. and his interest comes back because there's also this relationship in the heart and in the mind. So that's the biology of it, but the simple truth is what you say. There's a gap. Don't pursue him. He has to feel the gap, miss you, and come back to you. What your instinct is, I call this the second stage of dating. You first have your connection time. Then you go into the gap, as you're saying, and I would call that stage is the uncertainty period. Mm-hmm. He pulls away, kind of goes, okay, I'm not so sure that I want to continue this relationship. Because often with connection, we get these little glimpses of, oh my gosh, you're the one, I love you. Okay, maybe you don't say it, but you feel it. That as soon as that starts to happen, that's big time estrogen. And for men, they pull away. That's why you never say to a man, I love you. Okay. You don't say that until he says it to you. It's just some basic stuff. You just go, I love you. But what you do, if it's true and it's authentic, I'm all about authenticity and appropriate expression of it, is if he does something for you. I took my wife to Hamilton, and she says, that's a play. And she says, that's the best play I've ever seen. I love that play. I love the music. I want to listen to the music. Let's get the music for it. That's loving me. See, when you love what a man does for you, he takes it personally. He takes it in as you love him. But if you say, I love you, that's talking to his female side. His estrogen goes up. His testosterone goes down. Now he has to pull away to rebuild the testosterone. So he needs to be anchored in to, I've done enough stuff to cause my testosterone to go up with you.